How's it going, everyone? I'm Shadow Trucker. Today's May 20th, 2021, and it's my first week with Landair. I did orientation May 10th, 11th, and 12th, and I'm going to kind of cover what all goes on over there. In order to get there, you're either going to go on a bus, they're going to fly you down, you're going to get a rental, or you can drive your own personal vehicle. If you get a rental, you are going to turn it in the very first day you're there. Not the day you get to the hotel, but the following day when you do your first day of orientation. They will have you all turn in your car keys, and then you guys will drive them over there together, and then a van will come back and pick you up, or they'll get you an Uber back to the facility, which is kind of weird. So the first you get there, you check in at the hotel. If you're in the Laverne, Tennessee location, this is where I went. I did not go to the Chattanooga location or any of their other locations. Laverne, Tennessee. If you go there, which if you're the Landair Elite Fleet, that's more than likely where you're going to go. So when you get there, they keep you at the Baymont by Wyndham. It's not the best hotel, but it's not the worst either. The beds are real comfortable. They're clean. Some of the furniture's old. It doesn't really matter. You're not there to have fun. The hotel does have breakfast every morning from 6 to 9, I believe, or 6 to 8. You're going to have to get up early to eat. They got eggs, sausage, pancakes, cereal, bagels, muffins, yogurt, all that crap. Eat your breakfast, and you need to be ready to head to the office between 6:15 and 6:45. They have a van. They'll come pick you up and shuttle all of you back to the terminal, to the office. And they'll do a few trips to pick you all up if you're a large group. If you have your own vehicle, you're allowed to drive over there, but you just have to park around the back side of the building. So when you get there on day one, you go into the classroom. You meet all your instructors, and then it's pretty much like every other orientation that you've heard of or been to. Day one's a bunch of paperwork, a bunch more paperwork, and your drug test. If you go to the bathroom in the morning, make sure you drink a bunch of fluids when you eat breakfast, or as soon as you get to that terminal before class starts, just start drinking water. The guy to do our drug test was there probably the first hour or second hour that we were there. He showed up and we started doing drug tests. Do not wait for hours to go pee. The guy is only there for so long. If he leaves and you haven't peed, you're going home. They're not bringing him back again because he was scheduled for that day to do the piss test. You're going to go home. If you don't have a physical, let them know before you get there so they can kind of, have a count of how many people need to get them done while they're there. You can get your physicals done while you're there. We had a few guys that needed that. Either they were about to expire or they had already expired. But if they're already expired and you're showing up without it, you're already wrong. You should be taking care of that yourself to maintain your license. Bring your medical card with you. You will need it. They want a copy of it. Bring your license also. You're driving down there, you're definitely going to need your license. So, day one, paperwork, drug test, and that's about it. That covers day one. You'll go back to the hotel. Day two is not so much paperwork. You have a few pieces, almost none. You do have to fill out some stuff on the Driver Pulse app, however. Excuse me. The company will not send you that stuff until you are at orientation. I don't know why. We tried to figure it out. They just said that's how it is. I think it's just because it doesn't matter if you're not getting hired. If you're not in orientation, they're not interested in hiring you. So you have no need to do that stuff. It's watching videos and answering little quiz questions to make sure you know common stuff for trucking. And then you also do your road test on day two. You'll get in a truck with a trainer, and it is the easiest road test you will ever take if you have the same instructor. I cannot remember his name right now. I don't know why. But anyways, the road test, you get in this truck. There's two of you at a time, one in the driver's seat, one sitting in a chair in the middle, and then the instructor in the passenger seat. So you pull out of their lot, and you take an immediate right. You go down to the light, you take a right. Go down to the next light, take a right, down to the next light, take a right, and then you come back one more and take another right, and you'll end up back on the same street. You'll pull into the lot, go around the backside, and there's 2 cones set up in between a bunch of trailers, and you have to back that truck in between those trailers. Do not hit anything. Don't even slightly tap it. Don't graze it. You will be terminated on the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You don't get a second chance. Oh, I was just nervous. No, you're gone. The instructor doesn't care how many times you pull up. It's not like some of those companies where, you can only do your 2 pull-ups, or you can only get out. You have to get out and look twice. No. If you don't need to get out and look, don't get out and look. If you need to get out and look, get out and look. If you need to pull up 100 times, pull up 100 times. They don't care. The only thing that they ask is that you do it in a reasonable amount of time. Don't sit there for an hour trying to back this truck up and wasting their time. They're going to have to let you go. They don't want to see that. I mean, if it takes you about 5 minutes, that's okay. As long it has to be a reasonable window. Like if you're at a customer and you're trying to back into a dock, they don't want to sit there waiting for you. That's what they want to see. So they want to see you get it in there in a reasonable amount of time without hitting anything or damaging anything and being safe. On the paperwork, it'll say you're either going to back up at a 45 or a 90, depending on what the instructor tells you. The instructor doesn't care. Pull in there, back it in. If you want a 90 at 90, if you want a 45 at 45, and if you can get the whole truck straight and back in, get the whole truck straight and back in. He doesn't care. Once you finish your road test, you just hang out for the day. Even if you haven't done the road test and you're done with everything else in the classroom, you hang out for the day. There's nothing else to do. You can't leave if you don't have your own vehicle, or if you don't have a rental. You can rent a car while you're there. So yeah, you just hang out, talk to the rest of the guys in the class. You get to know some of them. Some of you guys will be on the same account, so you can swap phone numbers and chat with each other, letting each other know what the route's like where you are. If you get there before they do, or if they get confused later on, you can help them out. Day 3, if you'll pretty much all make it to day 3 unless you refuse to do your drug test, you piss off one of the instructors for some reason, or you fail the driving portion, the road test. If you pass all that stuff, you'll be there day 3. So day 3, you don't even come to the terminal. You stay at the hotel, and they call you to tell you whether you got hired or not. If you do not get hired, you will not go back to the terminal. You'll stay at the hotel, and they'll just call you and be like, hey, we're getting you a bus ticket to send you home. If you're not hired, you don't get a rental car to go back home. You don't get a plane ticket to go back home. You get a bus ticket, and you have to wait for whatever that bus time is. So you might be getting picked up at 3 in the afternoon and getting dropped off by your house, or close to your house as the terminal is, at 2 o'clock in the morning, for all you know. It's not your choice. It's whatever they get you, and that's how you're going home. You can ask them to drop you off at the rental lot, Enterprise, and they'll do that, and you can rent your own vehicle to drive yourself back home if you want to, or if you have family that lives close and will drive you, or a friend or something, you can do that too. If you do get hired, they will shuttle you back to the terminal in little groups. They'll call 2 or 3 at a time, let you know you're hired, and then bring you all over. Or if you have a vehicle, you can drive the guys or drive yourself. It's up to you. When you get to the terminal, after they tell you you've been hired, you go to the terminal and you fill out a few little pages, just signing them. One of them is for your comm data card. One is an agreement for your pay scale, what you guys agreed upon, and whether you need to be with the trainer or not, something like that. And then there's like 1 or 2 other pages, which I can't remember what they are. And then they give you your logbook in case you have to run paper logs if something goes wrong with your ELD, and they give you a book of fuel stops, authorized fuel stops. The one thing that I really do not like about this company is they only use TA and Petro, and those are very few, far and in between. I've been looking at this book, and there's only about 2 or 3 fuel stops in every state that you can use. That's it. So when you're planning your stuff, you better plan your fuel stop very well, because you will run out of fuel. And you don't want to go outside of theirs, because then they send you a message saying, hey, you've been outside of this, and the fuel department's complaining, and you need to stick with our fuel solutions or our fuel routes. They don't give you fuel solutions. You do your own fuel. They don't give you customer directions. You plan yourself. You get a message that tells you where to pick up, what time, where to drop off, what time. That's about it. So you get all that stuff signed for everything. Sometimes they'll give you a phone number to call your fleet manager to, introduce yourself and for them to get you a rental car to go pick up your truck wherever it's at. Your truck might be there in Laverne if you're lucky. We had one guy that did have his truck there. He got in his truck. He already had a load. They sent him on his way. You pick up your load. They'll send you by your house within the first day or two. They'll try to send you by your house so you can pick all your stuff up. We had another guy. His truck was down in Chattanooga. They got him a rental car, sent him to Chattanooga. Got in his truck. Same thing. Had a load. Good to go. If your truck is not there, your fleet manager, when you call them or when they call you, if you don't get a phone number, they'll call you. They will get you a rental car. Your fleet manager will schedule all that. They'll get you a rental car if your truck's not there and get you to your truck. Like for me, I brought my truck to Tennessee to do orientation, my personal pickup. And when I was done, I called my fleet manager, explained that I need to go back home to drop my truck off. And then we'd roll from there. So she got me a rental car and I went and picked my truck up in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. So sometimes you are quite a ways away because I live in Kentucky. 8-hour drive to Virginia to pick up a semi-truck. And that's pretty much all there is to orientation. It's straightforward, it's simple. If you're in the classroom, if you see this video and you go to the class and other people haven't seen it, let them know. Don't bullshit when you're in the classroom. Don't sit there and tell them stories about how previous orientations ran or how your previous companies were doing things. Let them get through the coursework. Ask them questions strictly pertaining to that coursework. It makes it go by so much faster. You get out of there and back to your hotel so much faster. If you want to talk about, the bullshit you did at other orientations or in your actual other driving job, wait till you're on break or before class starts or after class is over. They'll talk to you. They'll listen, they'll bullshit with you. But if you're doing it in the middle of class, all you're doing is holding up everybody else from going home. And they don't care. And they'll straight up tell you, I don't care. If you're sitting there like, I used to take 4 hours. I used to drive 4 hours before I would take my 30-minute rest break. They're like, I don't care. I don't care how you do it. Take your 30-minute rest break. They just don't care about your stories. And they're not being rude. They're trying to teach what they have to teach so it can be done with. For breakfast, it's served at the hotel. I think I already went over that at the beginning. I'm pretty sure. If not, they got sausage, eggs, pancakes, cereal, all that good jazz. For lunch, they provide you with lunch. You don't leave for lunch. They bring it to you. They give you a paper and you check what you want. You can only check one thing. So you can either get a sandwich or a sandwich and fries, chicken wings or chicken wings and fries, or a salad. No fries with the salad, I don't think, but you do get breadsticks. And then you also can pick a drink, sodas, water. I think there's tea on there too. And they'll bring it about the same time every day between 12 and 1. They order it, they have it delivered, they sort it all, everybody comes out one by one, gets your food, go back inside the classroom, eat your food, and then after lunch you go back to your thing. For dinner, you get a meal voucher for the Waffle House, $12 meal voucher. The Waffle House is, you leave your hotel, take a left, go right across the street, there's your Waffle House. It's right there. You can walk to that. You can also walk to the McDonald's. I think there's an Arby's there too that you can walk to. If you have a vehicle, you can drive to Longhorns, Texas Roadhouse, Chick-fil-A. That's all within like a 20 minute driving window. There's also a catfish place somewhere up near Nashville, so you can go in there too. That covers the whole food situation. Day 3, you do not get fed. You get your breakfast at the hotel. They don't give you lunch because some of you might not be there for lunch. If you are, you can buy something if you want to. However, on day 3, you could be waiting for hours. When we did ours, the first person to get a phone call wasn't until about 11 in the morning or 12 in the afternoon. We waited a while. Everybody was up, 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, like we normally were, going to eat breakfast. Nobody got a phone call until about 11 or 12. So you could be waiting. I didn't get my phone call until I think about 3, or no, about 2:30. I had to be at the office at 3. So just be prepared to wait on day 3. It's kind of shitty. You're sitting there waiting that long when maybe your drug test hasn't came back, or safety has to review some of your stuff. Just because you made it through all these days does not mean safety has agreed to hire you. We had guys get terminated on the 3rd day because of that crap. Oh, safety said no because of this, whatever it was. Just because you made it to orientation does not mean you're good to go. A lot of guys thought that, and a few of them had some hiccups in there, and they actually had to fight to stay and be good. Trying to think if there's anything else. I think that just about covers everything for orientation. If you got any questions, go ahead and drop them in the bottom in the comment section. I will try to get back to them. I'm not sure how often I'm going to be doing these videos. I'm kind of all over the place with the hours I'm running right now. Whenever you go to sign your agreement for your pay, when your recruiter calls you, if you get stuck with the HDS Sunoco account, which is what I'm on, they're used to paying a different thing than what Landair is agreeing to for some of us. So they might tell you you're getting paid this even though you just signed for something else. Let them know that you signed for something else. Let your fleet manager know whenever they tell you, like, hey, I signed for this amount, not that. And they will contact the people back at the Landair office, and they'll get it all straightened out. You will make what you signed for, not what they're saying you're going to make. It will get straightened out. Yeah. Go ahead, drop some questions down there in the comments. Whatever. If you want to just write bullcrap, write bullcrap. Don't care. If you like it, give me a thumbs up so I know. Let me know what you guys want to get some information on. I'll try to figure all of it out that I can before you come over. Yeah. All right. Take care. Have a good one.